What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Undo with Jericha Szlo. I am Jericha Szlo, and today I just want to give you a little bit of food for thought and hopefully expand your mind a little bit more, open your eyes even further to just how powerful your mind is in creating your entire life experience, whether it be your money reality, your relationships, your career, your mental health, everything. Because you are the universe just experiencing itself, your brain is the receiver, and you are literally living in a reality of your own made algorithm. And I'm also going to share with you how you can create an algorithm that actually consists of experiences that you desire to have. Before we jump in though, please don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I would love to have you tune in every single week with me to talk about the brain and spirituality and neuroscience and the matrix and living a life that you love, creating wealth, freedom, all the things. Okay? Okay. Now let's go ahead and get started. So your entire essence, okay, your awareness, your soul, your consciousness, your life force is literally just the universe experiencing itself. You are not separate from it. Okay? You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself. But to have a human experience, that consciousness needs a tool to interpret reality. And that's where the brain comes in. And this is why I am so passionate about neuroscience and spirituality and the intersection between the two, because literally you're just the universe experiencing itself, but your brain is the tool used to interpret the world around you. So your brain plays many different roles in your human experience, okay? But the four main ones that actually contribute to creating your reality are the following. Number one, the first main role is the receiver. So your brain picks up frequencies, sensations, ideas, inspirations, and patterns from the field, aka the quantum field, which is really just collective unconscious. So think of it like a radio picking up invisible broadcasts, right? Your intuition, the synchronicities you see, the inspiration you get, all of this is just received by the brain, but it's not created by it. Okay, so those intuitive thoughts that you get, or the synchronicities that you see around you, or the inspired ideas that you have for your business or for whatever it is. Your brain isn't creating that. It's actually picking that up. It's receiving the information from the quantum field. And the second role it plays is the translator. So your brain takes raw data, whether it be light, sound, sensation, energy, and it actually translates it into meaning. So it basically forms a coherent narrative so that you can survive, understand, and respond. This is so that our brains can keep us safe, right? I always say how your brain is literally hardwired to just keep you safe. And this is why it has to act as a translator, because in order to keep us safe, it has to be able to initiate responses out of us for us to get moving or act a certain way or think you know what I mean, right? And it does this by making meaning of the raw data around us and actually translating that raw data into meaning that we can understand and act upon. And then the third main role it plays, which honestly I consider this one to be the most important when it comes to creating your reality, but is the filter. So your reticular activating system and your belief systems act as filters, basically deciding what version of the universe you're going to see. Because reality isn't objective, it's curated. This is why somebody can be surrounded by love or opportunity and not actually perceive it, because they're filters that are created through their trauma or their fear center of their brain or their identity. It actually blocks the signals. So they could literally be surrounded by people who love them, but because of that trauma and the belief systems that they have, their reticular activating system is not filtering in that information that shows them that they're surrounded by love, or that shows them that they're surrounded by opportunity that could, bring them forward in life. And it's simply just because of the filter, which is through your reticular activating system and your belief systems. And then the four main role that your brain plays is the projector. So once your brain has filtered and organized all of the information that it receives, it then projects that reality outward. And it's going to show up in your thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and what you attract. And it's not just shaping what you see in the world around you and what you perceive, but it's actually shaping what you create. Right? Because your brain doesn't reflect the world. It basically helps build it, especially if we know that your brain doesn't going back to the receiver role, your brain doesn't just create these things, it receives the information. So it's not just reflecting the world, it's helping build it. So how do these four main roles actually create the algorithm that you're living and experiencing every day? As infinite consciousness, because you are the universe, you have access to everything. You have access to love, to fear, to expansion, to lack, to creativity, to connection, to money, to support, to guidance, everything. You have access to everything because you are the universe. But your human system, which is really just your conscious mind, can't process all of that at once. So your brain creates an algorithm, which is basically a personalized feed of reality curated by what it thinks is most relevant for you. Okay. Look at it as literally the exact same thing as like a TikTok or Instagram algorithm. There are so many videos out there in the world, but you can't watch all of them at once. So the algorithm, the platforms, the social media platforms actually create an algorithm for you based on what it thinks is relevant to you. And it does this literally based on the content that you spend the most time watching and engaging with. This is literally how your brain works in the universe. Because again, you have access to everything. Just like we have access, on social media, we have access to every single video available. But we're only going to see it if it's curated into our feeds, into our personal algorithms. Whatever you spend most of your energy thinking about and giving attention to is how your brain will curate the feed that you see within the universe and within your reality, just like every social media platform does. They all just want to give you more of what it thinks you like, and the social media algorithms only know what you like based on what you give attention to, and the brain works exactly like that. It works no differently. And this internal algorithm is based on 4 things, okay? Number 1, your reticular activating system. This is what decides what information actually gets filtered into our conscious mind. Your brain takes in 11 million bits of information per second. But your conscious mind can only process 40 to 50,000 bits of information. So the reticular activating system acts as the filter to what gets filtered into your conscious mind and what doesn't. And it's all based on what you've repeatedly told your brain matters through your attention, through your beliefs, through your focus, and through your emotional intensity. Number 2 is your beliefs, okay? And your beliefs are formed through your past experiences. So whether it be through your childhood or the trauma you've endured or the things that you've repeatedly said to yourself or someone has repeatedly said to you, or the things that you repeatedly act upon, or whatever it is. All of these beliefs then tell your reticular activating system, this is how the world works. Your brain then filters the entire universe through these stories, even if they're outdated or even if they're not in alignment with what you desire to experience. And then number 3 is your emotional set point. So if your nervous system is dysregulated, aka stuck in survival, your brain will filter for threats, not opportunities, because survival mode means that your nervous system and brain are only putting their focus and attention on keeping you safe, not in helping you succeed, not in helping you expand. I talked about this in a previous podcast episode. I don't remember exactly which one, but I basically talked about how your nervous system acts like an elastic band. And when you're in survival mode, it contracts and it's really hard to expand. But as soon as you're out of survival mode and your nervous system is regulated, you can actually stretch, right? You can stretch those limits further. You become more expansive. You can hold more space. If you're regulated and actually grounded in possibility, then your brain filters through the universe and searches for expansion. And then those are the opportunities and the information that gets filtered in through your reticular activating system. And then number 4 is your identity and self-concept. Your sense of self becomes the container for what you expect to receive. If, as an example, you unconsciously identify as not good enough, then your brain will filter out evidence that contradicts it. This is otherwise known as the confirmation bias, where studies have shown that your brain will actively look to confirm what it already believes to be true. And if it doesn't align with the beliefs that you have about yourself, then it will dismiss or distort any information that tries telling it otherwise. So like if somebody says like 10 amazing things about you and then only 2 bad things about you, and those 2 bad things are things that you actually believe about yourself, then it will dismiss all of the good things that were said about you and will pay attention to and confirm that it is true, the 2 things that, aren't nice. I feel like I just lost my train of thought there, but you know what I mean. So the combination of all of these different filters becomes your reality feed. You don't see reality as it is, you see it through the algorithm that your brain has been trained to run. It decides what you notice, what you attract, what you think is possible, what you dismiss, what you fear, what you expect. Even miracles can go unnoticed if your algorithm isn't wired to receive them. So all in all, you are the universe, and your brain is the algorithm that filters, interprets, and reflects that universe back to you. What you believe, expect, and emotionally reinforce becomes the version of reality that you actually live in. And so I'm going to say something that might trigger my full-on spiritual followers. But this is the exact reason why I stopped asking the universe for signs, and particularly specific ones, okay? Not because I'm not a believer in a higher power or I don't want to seek guidance or anything like that, but because if you are the universe, then you create those signs. Which means that if you say, universe, if I should do XYZ, then show me a blue Mustang. Now your reticular activating system is literally going to search for that blue Mustang because you've created relevance around it, especially if you have an emotional attachment to that outcome. So it's almost like you're not really getting a sign of whether something's good or bad for you, or you should or shouldn't do it. You're getting it because you are the universe, and now your brain is going to filter everything that you put relevance on or give relevance to. I feel like that doesn't sound grammatically correct. I'm sure you understand. Or if you say, and I used to do this all the time, if I should do X, show me a red cardinal. But if I should do Y, show me a blue jay. You will only see the sign that aligns with your subconscious attention because it's your subconscious focus that activates your reticular activating system to actually search for and filter in information around you. So if your subconscious focus is on the sign that you don't want to see, then chances are you're going to see that sign. Not because the universe is telling you that you should do one thing over the other, it's because your subconscious focus is on that sign. So that's the first one you're going to see. And I don't say any of this to discourage you or to like wean you away from like connecting with the universe or anything like that. Honestly, I say it to show you that you hold the power and you shouldn't be banking on something of higher power to tell you how to make decisions or how to go about things because you are the higher power that you're speaking to. This is why a lot of people say that when you ask for signs, it's because you already know the answer. Right? I've heard so many spiritual people say, like, you don't need to ask for signs. If you're even looking to ask for a sign, then you already know the answer. And it's like your intuition is telling you what you want to know because all of the answers you want are already within you. But your conscious mind feels like it needs the confirmation in order to move forward because it's your conscious mind that really makes you human. And so we ask for signs looking for guidance from something larger than us or in higher power than us. But in reality, our brains are just filtering into our conscious mind what it already knows to be true. But a very famous spiritual mantra that I absolutely love that will help you start to recreate that internal algorithm is universe, show me how good it gets. When you wake up and go, universe, show me how good it gets, you are signaling to your reticular activating system to start scanning your environment for things that are good and enjoyable and exciting and expansive. And it's retraining your nervous system to expect positive outcomes. You are literally changing the filter that's controlling your life experience and controlling your internal algorithm. However, even though this is a great little hack and I love it and I use it all the time and there is science behind it, the true way to change your algorithm and experience life the way you really desire is by rewiring your beliefs and regulating your emotions. Because so much of your day-to-day life is living within your autopilot program. And this program is a compilation of all of your dominant thoughts, your dominant beliefs, and your dominant feelings. Your brain isn't just filtering in reality when you're consciously aware of it. Okay, it's filtering your reality at all times of every day. This is why manifestation isn't something that you just try doing. It's something that you're always doing. Every thought, every belief, and every emotional reaction is feeding your internal algorithm and creating your reality. And that algorithm is shaping what you receive, what you actually attract back to you. So even when you're consciously occupied, your brain is still working in the background to filter your reality based on your subconscious autopilot program. You don't ever get to turn it off. So if the root of what creates your internal algorithm and reality is your subconscious focus, then the solution is to rewire that subconscious focus. But here's a little step-by-step guide to start changing your reality and actually updating your internal algorithm so that the reality you see is actually things that you desire. Number one is start with awareness. What do you currently see in your life feed, right? Do you see lack? Do you see love? Do you see resistance? Do you see synchronicity? Do you see fear? Do you see abundance? Like, what are you actually seeing in your life feed? Number two is to update the filter. So this is where you can use language and practices like show me how good it gets so that you can train your brain to actually perceive more good. And then number three is to rewire your beliefs. And you do this through repetition and emotional engagement because through repetition and when you are actually emotionally engaged with the thing that you are repeating, whether it be an affirmation or a hypnosis, like whatever it is, whatever you are repeatedly doing, if there is emotional attachment to it, then you are creating new neural pathways. And those new neural pathways are going to start to create new algorithm rules, right? It's going to start to change the filter of what gets filtered in, what gets filtered out, what you perceive in the world around you, the information that you see, blah, blah, blah. And then number 4 is regulate your nervous system, because the safer you feel, the more open your reticular activating system becomes to new information, right? Back to what I was talking about before, you become more expansive when your nervous system is regulated. So that's number 4. And then number 5 is to engage with what you want more of. Right? Just like Instagram or just like TikTok, the more you like or engage in something, the more the algorithm starts to actually feed more of that to you. So in your reality, start engaging with the things that you actually want. And then your brain's going to start to create relevance around those things. So then it will start to filter more of that in. You are not creating your reality from scratch. Okay, you're selecting it from infinite possibilities based on what your brain is programmed to look for, because you are the universe with access to limitless possibilities and your brain is the receiver. I hear so many different people say so many things like it's not the universe, it's your brain, or it's not your brain, it's the universe, but the reality is that it's both. Your biology is how you actually interact with infinite possibility, right? Like your nervous system, for an example, is how you interpret the language of energy. You are not manifesting with your thoughts, you are manifesting with your filters. And when you clean up those filters, the universe doesn't change, your experience of it does. The world around you doesn't change, the way you experience it does. It's kind of like if you want to use money as an example and a money experience as an example. You've got two people, okay? One is wired for expansion and abundance, and one is wired for lack. It doesn't mean that the one wired for expansion and abundance isn't ever going to experience experiences that, are undesirable, where they like lose money or something financially doesn't work out the way they want it to. It's just the way they experience it and are able to like bounce back and perceive the situation and make meaning of the situation is different than how the one who's wired for lack will make meaning of it. Because the one who's wired for lack will make meaning of it where it'll like completely dismantle their emotions, and they're going to think that the universe is out to get them, and they're going to think that nothing's ever going to work out for them, or they're not meant for XYZ. But the other one who's wired for expansion and abundance might have, that simple reaction where they're like, oh, like I'm frustrated. But then immediately, maybe not immediately, but they'll quickly bounce back and be like, okay, I've got this because I'm surrounded by abundance. I am abundance. The universe doesn't change, the way you experience it does. But that is all, you guys, for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it brought you a perspective shift or you learned something new. Whatever it is, comment it down below, whether you're on Spotify or YouTube. Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear from you. If you have questions or maybe you have content suggestions of things that you want to see, I would just love to hear from you. Okay? But I will catch you guys in the next one.